Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint legal, joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.
I want to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
to
was...
Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me, Katie. Sebastian got in trouble. He got caught lying.
Okay, so
And we asked,
he was really not prepared to tell this story. And if he was prepared, I think he realizes what a prick he sounds like. And it's hard for him to spit this story out. But trigger warning, because Sebastian has autism. And we don't know how old Sebastian was when this happened for the first time.
Katie. Sebastian got in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
And he justifies it.
Out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
to
was...
Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me, Katie. Sebastian got in trouble. He got caught lying.
Mm.
And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes.
Buttocks?
One swat.
What did he lie about?
Honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues
okay.
at school?
Here's another reason that he's lying, that it wasn't just once. If you did that once to a child, and look at that mother, dude, she gives me creepy vibes. If you did that just once,
psychopathy,
you would remember what he did. Okay. If that was a one-time deal, you'd remember that he did something so horrific that you got the belt. But he just told us with his own lips, his own Play-Doh lips, he said he got caught lying and he's blinking like a motherfucker. Do you want to watch it again? He got caught lying. You know why people lie? You know why kids lie to assholes like Chris Proudfoot? Because they can't win. They can't win. They tell the truth, they get in trouble. They lie, they get in trouble. With people like him, you can't win.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me, Katie.
Oh, no, you're in the hot seat,
Sebastian
motherfucker.
got in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this.
You got to
says, yes,
have
sir.
a
And I said,
punishment
okay.
for this.
So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Sebastian's teacher, she said he was very high functioning. He was very smart. And he was a jokester. His teacher had more positive things to say about him than these two.
So it's a little, he's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space, he gets a little too close. And then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop and he continues on. So then it causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian. He'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
work.
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
When was this?
Years ago, ma'am.
Years ago.
Any idea how many? 3, 10, 1?
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
What happened?
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We were going through a custody and a divorce case at that time.
When I'd call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested. Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS.
Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Then how does that turn into a CPS complaint against you?
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now in regards to my New Mexico case.
Oh, God. Now he's going to bring this up because he knows it's sealed. And look at Katie. I am a robot. I don't have any feelings.
I want to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Or lying about doing
Was
work.
that the first time? Was that
She says, or lying about. She adds in another lie. Look at. Ooh, mom might be kind of aggressive. Let's listen again. Or lying about. She wants to add her own thing in that Sebastian does or did to get the belt.
Lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian. He'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
work.
that the first time? Was that
Or lying about doing work. That's what her ass just said. Or lying about doing work. Listen. Why is she chiming in? She couldn't help herself but to chime in.
Lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
work.
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.